The Sermon on the Mount. Jesus saw the crowds and went up a hill, where he sat down. His disciples gathered around him, and he began to teach them. Happy are those who know they are spiritually poor. The kingdom of heaven belongs to them. Happy are those who mourn. God will comfort them. Happy are those who are humble. They will receive what God has promised. Happy are those whose greatest desire is to do what God requires. God will satisfy them fully. Happy are those who are merciful to others. God will be merciful to them. Happy are the poor, the pure in the heart. They will see God. Happy are those who work for peace. God will call them his children. Happy are those who are persecuted because they do what God requires. The kingdom of heaven belongs to them. Happy are you when people insult you and persecute you and tell all kinds of evil lies against you because you are my followers. Be happy and glad, for a great reward is kept for you in the heaven. This is how the prophets who lived before you were persecuted. You're like a salt for all mankind, but if salt loses its saltness, there is no way to make it salt again. It has become worthless, so it's thrown out and people trample on it. You are like light for the whole world. A city built on a hill can't be hid. No one lights a lamp and puts it under a bowl. Instead, he puts it on the lampstand, where it gives light for everyone in the house. In the same way, your light must shine before people, so that they will see the good things you do and praise your Father in heaven. Don't think that I have to come to do away with the law of Moses and the teachings of the prophets. I haven't come to do away with them, but to make their teachings come true. Remember that, as long as heaven and earth last, not the least point nor the smallest detail of the law will be done away with. Not until the end of all things. So then, whoever disobeys even the last important of the commandments and teaches others to do the same will be least in the kingdom of heaven. On the other hand, whoever obeys the law and teaches them others to do the same will be great in the kingdom of heaven. I tell you then, that you will be able to enter the kingdom of heaven only if you are more faithful than the teachers of the law and Pharisees in doing what God requires. You have heard that people were told in the past, don't commit murder. Anyone who does will be brought to trial. But now I tell you, whoever is angry with his brother will be brought to trial. Whoever calls his brother you good for nothing will be brought to trial, will be brought before the council. And whoever calls his brother a worthless fool will be in danger of going to the fire of hell. So, if you are about to offer your gift to God at the altar and there you are, remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there in front of the altar. Go at once and make peace with your brother, and then come back and offer your gift to God. If someone brings a lawsuit against you and takes you to court, settle the dispute with him while there is time. Before you get to court, once you're there, he will turn you over to the judge, who will hand you over to the police, and you will be put in jail. There you will stay, I tell you, until you pay the last penny of your friend. You have heard that it was said, don't commit adultery. But now I tell you, anyone who looks at a woman and wants to put this here is guilty of committing adultery with her in his heart. So, if your right eye causes you to sin, take it out and throw it away. It's much better for you to lose a part of your body than to have your whole body thrown into hell. If your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It's much better for you to lose one of your limbs than to have your whole body go off to hell. It was also said, anyone who divorces his wife must give her a written notice of divorce. But now I tell you, if a man divorces his wife for any cause other than her unfaithfulness, then he is guilty of making her commit adultery if she married again. And the man who marries her commits adultery also. You have also heard that people were told in the past, don't break your promise, but do what you have vowed to the Lord to do. But now I tell you, don't use any vow when you make a promise. Don't swear by heaven because it's God's throne, nor by earth because it's the resting place for his feet, nor by Jerusalem because it's the city of the great King. Don't ever swear by your head because you can't make it single hair white or black. Just say yes or no. Anything else you say comes from the evil one. You have heard that it was said, no, an eye for an eye and a tooth for tooth. But now I tell you, don't take revenge on someone who wrongs to you. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, let him slap your left cheek too. And if someone takes you to the court to sue you for your shirt, let him have your coat as well. And if one of the occupation troops forces you to carry his pack 1 mile, carry 2 miles. When someone asks you for something, give it to him. When someone wants to borrow something, lend it to him. You have heard that it was said, love your friends, hate your enemies, but now I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may become the son of your Father in heaven, for he makes his sun to shine on bad and good people alike, and gives rain to those who do good and to those who do evil. Why should God reward you if you have only the people who loves you? Even the tax collector do that. And if you speak only to the friends you have done anything out of ordinary, even the pagans do that. You must be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. Make certain to you don't perform your religious duties in public, so that people will see what you do. If you do these things publicly, you will not have any reward from your Father in heaven. So when you give something to a needy person, don't make a big show of it, as hypocrites do in the houses of worship and on the streets. They do it so that people will praise them. I assure you, they have already been paid in full. But when you help a needy person, do it in such a way that even your closest friend will not know about it. Then it will be private matter, and your Father who sees what you do in the private will reward you. When you pray, don't be like the hypocrites. They love to stand up and pray in the houses of worship and on the street corners, so that Everyone will see them. I assure you they have already been paid in full. But when you pray, go to your room, close the door, and pray to your Father, who is unseen, and your Father who sees what you do in private will reward you. When you pray, don't use a lot of meaningless words, as the pagans do, who think that God will hear them because the prayers are long. Don't be like them. Your Father already knows what you need before you ask Him. Then is how you should pray. Our Father in heaven, may your holy name be honored. May your kingdom come. May your will be done on earth and it's in heaven. Give us today the food we need. Forgive us the wrongs we have done, as we forgive the wrongs that others have done to us. Don't bring us to hard testing, but keep us safe from evil one. If you forgive others the wrongs they have done to you, your Father in heaven will also forgive you. But if you don't forgive others, then your Father will not forgive the sins you have done. Teaching about fasting. And when you fast, don't put on a sad face, and hypocrites do this. They neglect their appearance, so that everyone will see that they are fasting. I assure you they have already been paid in full. When you go without food, wash your face, comb your hair, so that others can't know that you're fasting. Only your Father who is unseen will know, and your Father who sees what you do in private will reward you. Don't store up riches for yourselves here on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and robbers break and steal. Instead, store up riches for yourselves in heaven, where moth and rust can destroy, and robbers can't break and steal. For your heart will always be where your riches are. The eyes are like a lamp for the body. If your eyes are sound, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are no good, your body will be in darkness. So, if the light in you is darkness, how terribly dark it will be. No one can be a slave of two masters. He will hate one and love the other. He will be loyal to one and despise the other. You can't serve both God and money. This is why I tell you, don't be worried about the food and drink you need in order to stay alive, or about clothes for your body. After all, is not life worth more than food? And is not the body worth more than the clothes? Look at the birds. They don't plant seeds, gather and harvest, and put it in barns. Yet your Father in heaven takes care of them. Aren't you worth much more than birds? Can any of you live a bit longer by worrying about it? And why worry about clothes? Look how the wild flowers grow. They don't work or make clothes for themselves. But I tell you that not even King Solomon, with all his wealth, had clothes as beautiful as one of these flowers. It's God who clothes a wild grace that's here today and gone tomorrow, burned up in the oven. Won't He be all the more sure to clothe you? What little faith you have. So don't start worrying. Where will my food come from, or my drink, or my clothes? These are the things the pagans are always concerned about. Your Father in heaven knows that you need all these things. Instead, He concerned above everything else with the kingdom of God and with what He requires of you, and He will provide you with all these other things. So don't worry about tomorrow. It will have enough worries of its own. There is no need to add to the trouble each day brings.